Well, they just always hold up something more than they're prepared to give. I'm not really thinking much. You're just sort of trying to feel.
Every raw, soul-shattering note Janis Joplin belted out was born out of the experiences and opinions of a woman who had razor-sharp critiques of her musical peers. The hippie queen, who captivated audiences with her untamed spirit, wasn't just performing when she criticized fellow artists. She was defending what she saw as the true heart of music itself. While fans worshipped her authentic barefoot persona, few knew about the private judgments she passed on some of music's biggest names. Those closest to Joplin witnessed moments when her free-spirited facade cracked, revealing blistering critiques of performers who failed to meet her standards. Janis could spot a fake from across a crowded festival grounds, revealed her former bassist Peter Olbin in a never-before-published interview. She'd watch these polished performers and just shake her head. "They're selling an image," she'd say. "I'm selling my soul." From heated confrontations backstage at landmark festivals to dismissive comments after industry events, Joplin's unfiltered opinions showed how fiercely she protected the blues tradition she considered sacred. Her musical feuds weren't just petty disagreements. They reflected deep battles over what rock music should truly represent. We're covering the 6 singers that Janis Joplin couldn't stand, revealing the surprising names who faced the Pearl's notoriously blunt criticism. What you'll learn about these musical relationships will change how you hear their music forever. The battle for authenticity, why Janis judged so harshly. Janis Joplin's wild stage presence was underpinned by a fierce determination, as she saw music as a battlefield where authenticity was everything. "When I get on stage, I'm not performing, I'm confessing," she once said in 1969. Janis left everything on stage, often collapsing emotionally after shows. Bandmate Sam Andrew recalled her saying, "If you're not exhausted, you didn't give them everything." This uncompromising standard became how she judged others. Even as a Texas teenager, she declared, "I don't trust anyone who sings about pain with perfect makeup." What seemed like jealousy was actually her war against commercialized emotion. She'd throw things at polished TV performers, screaming, "That's not real!" Her producer, Paul Rothchild, explained, Janis wasn't competing with other singers. She was competing with truth itself. This authenticity came at a devastating cost. Without a persona to hide behind, every performance left her vulnerable. But her raw approach is why she remains a force decades later. And her unfiltered opinions about fellow stars, who represented everything she fought against. Barbra Streisand. Perfect notes, empty soul. At her peak, Janis Joplin secretly resented Barbra Streisand as the antithesis of musical authenticity. Barbra hits every note perfectly, but feels none of them. "I might miss a note, but you'll feel every damn one I do hit," Joplin confided after watching Streisand on TV in 1969. While Streisand enjoyed polished success, Joplin bled on stage nightly. At a Columbia Records party, she knocked back Southern Comfort and snarled, "They spend millions making her sound imperfect. I fight to keep what makes me real." During the Pearl sessions, Joplin erupted when someone played Streisand's music. "Turn that off! That's everything I'm trying not to be." Barbra sells the illusion of emotion, while keeping herself safe, Joplin told journalist Ben Fong Torres in her final interview. "I give people the real thing, and it's killing me." The irony. Joplin secretly envied Streisand's mainstream acceptance, yet she defended her own artistic choices in an industry that pushed her to be more like her rival. And what she said next about another folk icon would prove even more shocking. Joan Baez, Folk vs. Fire. Joplin and Baez's clash represented opposing forces in 1960s music. Though both had powerful voices, their artistic approaches collided dramatically. At Monterey Pop Festival 1967, Joplin dismissed Baez's performance. "She sings like someone reading about pain in a library book. I sing like someone who's lived through hell." Their conflict went beyond music. Baez represented intellectual protest, while Joplin embodied raw rebellion. At a 1968 benefit, after downing Southern Comfort, Janis confronted Joan. You think changing the world happens from singing pretty songs? I'm showing people how to break the damn rules. Tensions peaked at Woodstock when Joplin rejected a duet suggestion. Her voice is too clean, her message too safe. I don't sing pretty and I don't live safe. What really bothered Janis was how audiences responded. After a Baez concert, she fumed. They sit, nodding their educated heads. My crowds scream on their feet. That's the difference between making people think and making people feel. The rivalry's final chapter came when Baez performed at Joplin's memorial. A bitter irony for those who knew Janis. Most revealing was Joplin's rare, vulnerable admission. Maybe I'm just jealous. Joan found a way to change the world without destroying herself. I only know how to do both at the same time. Their contrasting approaches, controlled activism versus raw emotional sacrifice, defined two paths for women in music, with Joplin secretly respecting the stability she claimed to despise. Bob Dylan, poet not singer. Janis Joplin's relationship with Bob Dylan reveals her raw artistic philosophy through their stark stylistic differences. While respecting his poetic genius, she resented his calculated mystique and emotional distance. Bob hides behind his words, Joplin told bassist Peter Albin in 1968. I have to bleed on stage. He just has to mumble, and everyone calls him a genius. During their Greenwich Village days, Dylan watched Joplin perform with intensity. After one soul-bearing set, he simply remarked, "She's giving too much away." This fundamental difference became Joplin's core critique. While she surrendered emotionally on stage, she saw Dylan's cryptic persona as a shield. People think Bob's mysterious because he's deep, she told journalist Al Aronowitz. Truth is, he's mysterious because he's empty. He's a mirror. Everyone sees what they want. At the 1969 Atlantic City Pop Festival, sound engineer Stan Goldstein overheard Joplin watching Dylan's set. She declared, "That's not singing, that's just talking with notes." Her road manager John Byrne Cook revealed Joplin's deeper frustration. Janis hated how Bob played the press like an instrument. She'd say, "I answer honestly and they call me crazy. He gives nonsense answers and they call him profound." The most telling moment came during a confrontation at Columbia Records. "You write about pain like you've studied it in a book," she told Dylan. "I live it every day and put it in my voice." His response was just a shrug and smile, which only confirmed her assessment. Despite her criticisms, Joplin owned every Dylan album. She often played Just Like a Woman late at night, alternating between singing along and arguing with the lyrics. This contradiction highlighted their artistic divide, Dylan's intellectual approach versus Joplin's visceral commitment. As music journalist Ellen Willis noted, Bob made you think about feeling. Janis made you feel without thinking. But what happened between these two icons in private would prove even more explosive than anyone realized. Jim Morrison, Paul McCartney and Grace Slick, rock royalty clashes. The late 60s music scene wasn't just peace and love. Backstage was a battlefield of egos where Janis Joplin confronted rock's biggest names. Her clashes with Jim Morrison became legendary among those who witnessed them. At Monterey Pop Festival, she cut Morrison down. "You're not a real bluesman, just a pretty boy with leather pants and daddy issues," leaving the Lizard King speechless. Their rivalry grew as both competed for festival slots and magazine covers. Engineer Owsley Bear Stanley recalled Janis storming into Morrison's dressing room. "Your problem is you don't know the difference between being a rock star and being an artist. I do both every night." What made this feud tragic was their shared self-destructive path. After one heated exchange, Janis told friends, "That boy's headed the same place I am, only enjoying the ride less." Morrison wasn't her only target. Meeting Paul McCartney in London left the Beatles stunned by her honesty. "He makes pretty little songs for pretty little people. I make music that bleeds," she told her band afterward. Her sister Laura revealed Janis once admitted, "That man never had to fight for a single note. Every door opened for him while I'm still kicking them down." Even female pioneers weren't safe. After watching Grace Slick perform, Janis didn't hold back. Grace sings from her head, not her guts. Their tension peaked at Monterey, where photographer Jim Morrison overheard her say, "That chick looks great in those boots, but she's just playing at being dangerous. There's a difference between singing about upheaval and actually living one." These feuds revealed Joplin's uncompromising vision. Rock should be raw, honest, and paid for in blood. While others found stardom through poetry, politics, or pop appeal, Janis demanded emotional truth at any cost. The price of authenticity. Janis Joplin's feuds had roots that went deeper than celebrity drama. Her harsh judgments defended what she considered sacred, emotional truth in music. While the industry polished performances, Janis kept hers raw and dangerously real. Former bandmate Sam Andrew revealed, "Janis didn't just sing the blues, she lived them. That's why she couldn't stand performers who treated music like a costume." This belief shaped every criticism she made. Joplin's feuds exposed her deepest fears. Each criticized singer represented what she dreaded becoming. Commercially successful, but emotionally hollow. Her road manager noted, when Janis tore into others, she was fighting against industry pressures, trying to sand down her rough edges. The irony? While publicly rejecting mainstream success, private recordings reveal her doubts. In one vulnerable 1969 tape, she questioned, "Maybe they're right. Maybe I'm just destroying myself for nothing." 3 months later, she was gone. Her criticisms highlighted impossible standards for female performers. Men could be messy, yet celebrated as geniuses. Women had to choose between Barbara's polish or Janis's rawness, with little middle ground. In her final interview, Janis said, "I just want people to feel what I feel. The rest is just packaging." Her criticisms weren't about tearing others down, but protecting what made music matter. The haunting truth? The very authenticity Janis demanded ultimately consumed her. While those she criticized built sustainable careers, her refusal to compromise left her vulnerable to the demons that took her life. The price of her authenticity proved devastatingly high. The bleeding heart bitter words. Janis Joplin's raw criticisms came from a woman searching for authenticity in an industry built on facades. Her feuds revealed her uncompromising vision of music. Honest, painful, and life-changing. While publicly dismissing those 6 singers, close friends knew she privately admired aspects of each rival's success. Janis didn't hate these artists as people, revealed her former bassist Peter Albin in a 2019 interview. She hated what they represented, safety of perfection over the danger of vulnerability. The tragedy? Joplin's insistence on emotional authenticity drove her toward the substances that claimed her life at 27. The rawness she criticized others for lacking became both her greatest strength and fatal weakness. These musical conflicts highlight the fundamental divide in artistic philosophy that still exists today. In an era of auto-tune and crafted personas, Joplin's demand for emotional truth feels more relevant than ever. Her most revealing quote comes from her final interview, just weeks before her death. "I don't sing to be perfect. I sing to feel and make you feel. If that makes me difficult or makes enemies, so be it. At least when I'm gone, no one can say I was faking it." In the end, Janis Joplin's feuds weren't just about who she couldn't stand. They were about standing for something that mattered, even if it meant standing alone.